Hi, I had been wanting to do this video since a while, but in the last couple of weeks, I did receive a lot of DMs asking about me, asking about my life, and wanting to maybe know more about me than just a tarot card reader. So, this is the reason that I'm shooting this video today. Start with the first question. How and why did I get into tarot? It's actually a very interesting story. I had a friend in school, and she was the most secure, most amazing, most humble, most helpful person I have seen till date on this planet, at least like in the universe that I know of, like my little universe. And her sister used to do tarot card reading. She took me there once, and I was so intrigued by tarot cards. I could not believe that they could exactly predict or tell what I was feeling in that very moment, and it just really intrigued me. And then this friend of mine was also, like I said, a very good human. And it is because of her that not only I got introduced to tarot card, but also got introduced to Reiki and a lot of other, such forms of healing and occult sciences. And I remember, when did I decide that I wanted to learn all of this? First was, of course, fascination. And the second was, she would just randomly mention one day that, when you do things like Reiki, etc., you tend to become a good person. And my friend was a amazing human being. And I thought that, okay, if she has become like this, like so secure, so loving, so helpful due to such practices, then even I want to learn these practices and become a little bit like her. So that's how my journey started. And why, out of all the other healing practices, why I stuck with tarot the most? Because I feel it's very practical. You can answer a lot of questions practically also, and at the same time you can answer a lot of questions at a very soul and deep level also. So tarot is just something that stuck with me because it also helps with quick decision making or making the right choices in a short term moment. So just now, this is a question that a lot of new tarot card readers or tarot enthusiasts might be interested in. How did I get to practice on a lot of clients? And how did I get my first round of clients? So I started my journey almost 11 years ago. At that time, there used to be this website called MyDala. So I had actually listed myself on a lot of such websites like MyDala and OLX, etc. So on MyDala, anybody could purchase a tarot card reading by paying a little bit of amount. I used to get nothing out of it, but I just wanted to practice at that time. So the readings resonated with a couple of them, and those people continued being my clients till now. Then again, credits to that friend of mine. When I learned tarot card reading, I told her that I think I want to put a stall or some place so that I can straight away do readings on a lot of people and gather a good practice in a short duration of time. And I kid you not, when I called her just with this thought, within half an hour she had spoken to her college during her fest, and she organized a stall exclusively for me. And of course, this concept 11 years ago was even more new. And for 2.5 days, she was there with me, supporting me, helping me with little strategies like, okay, what, reduce the charges, or let's, give them ideas on kind of questions they can ask. And it is actually because of her that I straight away got to practice on 250 people in 2.5 days, I think. So yeah, that and MyDala. These two websites initially helped me quite a lot in terms of gathering my practice. And then, of course, whenever I would have any sort of a new person coming for a reading, that also helped initially a lot with bettering my readings. So practice is something that I truly believe in and I vouch in. Did any of my initial readings go wrong, or how did I decide that, okay, what is my style of reading going to be? See, if a reading goes wrong, it's very rare that a client actually comes and gives you the feedback. Although I really love feedbacks, even if a reading has gone right or wrong. But it's very rare that if a reading has gone wrong, that they would come and tell you, you did not predict it correctly. If it's gone right, that's when usually people try to reconnect with you and try to tell you that, oh yeah, whatever you predicted came right. So I'm not aware if any readings have gone wrong. But there is one thing that I think if I share in this video might get off my chest. There was somebody who came to me a reading once. He was in his mid 40s or 50s, I think. And when he came to me for a reading, he had asked me a question about his business. The cards showed everything great, but the next day he called me and he said कि उनकी factory में आग लग गई. and I think he was trying to understand that how could the cards not predict that. And to this very date, I kind of carry a little bit of guilt about that reading, and I keep questioning myself कि क्या उस reading में tower का card था क्या, like did I miss something, and I can't recall the cards. So that is something that I still haven't been able to get off my chest. But apart from that, like I said, I'm not aware if any reading has gone wrong. It's mostly because the querents usually do not tell you if the reading has gone wrong or they don't come back. How did I develop my style of reading? So honestly speaking, for any tarot card reader, you have to find and develop your own style of reading. One thing I feel has really worked in my favor is I was very young when I started tarot card reading. I was barely like in 12th class. So I never had the savior or the coach syndrome. And it's not a syndrome, it's just a term I have coined. I never wanted to save anybody. I never wanted to be seen as this wise person who was coaching somebody into doing something better. I simply focused on reading the cards. And till date also, I don't like, if I get two conflicting cards and I'm not able to figure them out, I'm like, why am I not able to figure my cards out? So till date, I think that is something, and this was not a conscious decision. It just happened very organically, like I said, because I was very young. At that point of time, I did not feel right also to be coaching people. And most of my clients were actually 10 years, 7 years, 8 years older to me. Some in bad marriages, some in like really bad relationships, some really stuck in their career. So you can imagine, like, even if I had to coach them, I would use the cards. But then I did not have this sort of notion in my mind that, I want to coach them because I'm the wise one, or because I have the tarot cards, now I'm wiser. So that was never the intent. And thankfully, because I never started with that intent, somehow this aspect of me where I just want to better my craft, I just want to read the cards properly, I just want to be able to decode the meaning of each card, each combo, each new deck properly. And that's the only thing I stick by till date. And yeah, that is the only thing that I truly feel resonance with also. So like, even if I have to advise somebody, because as a part of this profession, you are supposed to be guiding people and advising them, I again do that via my cards. So I'm never one of those people, who would like to share personal opinion on how a relationship should not be, how career should not be. I always try to advise via the cards. And yeah, I mean, my style of reading is simply giving a crystal clear message and being able to read my cards very properly to my satisfaction. There has been this one time when I felt I have not read my cards very properly, and then I literally called the person up again and I said, can we do your question again? I feel I did not read the cards properly. So I just stick with this, and that's my style of reading. How long have I been practicing tarot, and where all, anything about my journey? So like I said, 2010 or in 12th class, like in between that, 9-10 is when I kind of got acquainted with this art. It's been good 11-12 years now. We are in 2022, right? Like, so 11 years, yes. Initially, for the first 2 to 3 years, I would read for anybody and everybody. I was actually trying to actively get clients also, like paid clients. I would read for a lot of friends and family. But because I was so young, first thing, any sort of negativity really affects me. Like, nobody in my house is allowed to tell me anything sad. Like, sad of a third party, or like, some sad scene, or like some sad case, etc. Because I just start crying. I'm very deeply sensitive, dramatically so. So all the tarot card readings did start affecting me, because I would feel really bad for a lot of people in terms of why things are happening for them. When you are also young, you don't understand a lot of deeper concepts of karma and journey. So I would just start feeling very bad. Second, I think as a young person, I did not have boundaries in place. So I do remember a couple of my clients calling me after the readings also, just to discuss the reading, or like a friend, and that would take a toll on me, because I don't like that. I'm also slightly a person who likes being in her own space. So that was a problem. And then also after that, life just happened. I was on my own journey, on which tarot cards was not maybe a part of predominantly. So I stopped reading a lot for people outside of friends, family, and like the extended network. I think my initial experiences of my clients not having boundaries, or my clients constantly asking for remedies, and me not being able to articulate that well, that why a remedy but instead self work is going to work. So I think that all kind of caused like this distance between me and my cards, wherein it just felt more safer for me to be reading between my friends and family and people that I knew. However, last year I was going through a rough patch in terms of what I wanted out of my life, like a purpose. And I started following a couple of readings online on YouTube, Instagram. And I did not like the way they were reading, because I'm a reader, so I can see the cards and then I can see that the meaning that they were predicting. And I'm not saying all of them, but I'm saying maximum or most of them. Then a lot of them were only focused on love readings, and honestly speaking, I did want to get answers to some bigger questions. And like sometimes when you're in that anxious state where you can't even like fall out of the loop of just watching tarot card readings back to back, come on, you have done it. I have done it too, so it's okay. So that's when I kind of realized that, and honestly, I was so disconnected with the business side of tarot card reading since all these years. I had no idea that, there are so many tarot card readers now in today's age and time. And how many of them are actually, just giving out remedies and rituals and candling karlo, etc. They are just constantly talking about twin flame and all of these words, and kind of like leading people on into believing that they are going to get something which I don't feel they deserve. And again, I have been very well versed with concepts of twin flame, 3D ascension, 5D ascension like years ago, because when I started tarot card reading, I very deeply like to gather knowledge about this subject. So then I could just see a disconnect in terms of, how pure it was when it was a still lesser discovered art, and how impure it has become now when it's very discovered, and at the same time it's hardcore become like a professional mechanism of earning money. And one night I was just chatting with my friend and I was just expressing my displeasure at this, and randomly I just started creating content. I blocked my handle page, and that's me now. So that's how the journey started. And that is why till now also I struggle with a little bit sometimes, when I just go off page, I'm not taking any readings, because if I do a lot of negative readings back to back, I get very affected. I don't like it. I don't feel happy, like, oh, why is this happening in the world? So I keep thinking like that. And sometimes it also gets very exhaustive if I get very exhaustive readings back to back, where the querent is deeply disturbed in their life, and within that reading they need to be helped, or they had to hear certain answers which were not coming. It really disturbs me. It makes me exhausted, and that's why I keep taking breaks from the page as well. What did I feel I wanted to do differently on the page? So number one thing, I genuinely wanted to just talk about self-work. I believe that, sometimes people, if they focus too much on astro, tarot, numero, etc., they get so lost in this whole circle that they are not busy working on things that actually require work upon. Example, I have certain friends who do not believe in all this jazz of tarot, astro, whatever. They simply believe that, you do your work and you will be granted the results, and that works for them. And I truly believe that sometimes people who follow astro, tarot too much, they forget this aspect, that you could be following whatever, you could be wearing like 5 stones in your hands, or you could be doing certain rituals, you could be folding your hands daily in front of the god. However, if you're not doing the main work, then how will any of this yield result? So that was my aim via this page. I wanted to bring a balance into the lives of people. I wanted to tell them that not everything requires you to light up a candle. Not everything requires you to sage this space. Sometimes if you just control this, that's all the requirement you need in your life. Along with, of course, maybe guidance of tarot to set you on the right path. Any struggle do you go through as a channel or a medium or while being a tarot card reader? Yes, a lot. The first being, there was a very brief period last year when I was actually very angry. And that anger was actually coming in terms of, people just wanting to know the future so much, and everybody's just scheduling readings. In the readings, they are pushing me to constantly ask the same question again and again by twisting it and turning it, just because they want to hear a specific answer. So things like that tend to affect me, and it kind of caused like anger and slight animosity in me, that why am I even doing this, like for what, when they only want to hear what they want to hear, or they just would not be receptive of the message or the larger guidance that I'm trying to share with them. So that is one struggle. The other struggle is definitely boundaries, but I think I have like pretty much mastered it now. So I'm very happy like in that space. But yeah, boundary is definitely something else, because once somebody has opened up to you and you have become their reader, then they have already become vulnerable to you, right? So sometimes in that state of vulnerability, they do not understand the difference that outside of the reading and the time devoted to the reading, I am maybe not entitled to my time for them, and any sort of other guidance, etc. I would rather put it out at large for everybody in form of videos and all, and that is the free content or free advice, direct, coming straight from the heart, that they can consume. Then the third thing that I mostly struggle with is again the imbalance. I'm not very particularly fond of querents or peers in the tarot community who are very over the top focused on channeling and like being a medium and intuition, and I can sense energies. Like I can't do the energy talk, like all the time. I like having a healthy balance of like practical life in the now versus that, okay, yeah, because as a body, there is this also part of us as a brain and mind, like, yes, this is a part of our soul that we carry, but that's not the entire soul. So yes, these are, I think, three predominant things that I do struggle with sometimes. And one biggest pet peeve that I have, I do not actually enjoy particularly doing free readings, like a live session, etc. I sometimes do it, also to help people, like if they're very stuck, etc. But with each passing live session, I kind of do realize that if it's not a very important question, like a life or death question, then it maybe does not need an answer to. What I mean by that is that, if it's very important, then the querent would anyway, pay for the reading and come for a reading. And second, I kind of feel that, people who ask these questions in live readings, they anyway must be going to like multiple pages and multiple tarot card reading pages and asking the same question again in live readings, So I kind of feel live readings are a little useless in terms of, again, my value, which is that if the message is getting across or not, and if they're able to understand the message or not. Because the options of so many readers doing live readings is so much key. They didn't like what I said, so they'll go to somebody else, But yeah, I still do it because content is king. Number one question on my page has been, what is my background and what do I do apart from tarot? So I am a marketing consultant and I'm deeply passionate about marketing. I can pick up any business, any ad, anything in the realm of marketing and talk about it and like be smitten by it or critique it. So marketing is what I do for my bread and butter, and tarot is just something that I wanted to bring out as something that I felt I was good at and something that I felt I could do differently, because a lot of people do not focus on a lot of self-work concepts even from the space of psychology. So I wanted to bring that. What are my hobbies? My hobbies are... Can't believe I have to think so much for this one. Actually, they are a lot. Because I'm such an experience-based person, I love experiencing anything and everything in life. And even some of it may come across as silly, or later on, I may only judge myself that, I really did not have to do that. But I'm such an experience-based person, so anything that is very experience-driven, I would say that is my number one hobby. Anything that gives me like the kicks, and I'm very easy, so anything can give me kicks, just like, having a friend that I regularly go on a walk with. If I have like a friend like that, that in itself I'll call like, oh my god, this is amazing, like I love it. So I love collecting little experiences like that. But okay, coming to hobbies, I think painting is one of them. I do enjoy painting. I don't feel I'm very good at it though. It doesn't come naturally to me, so it's a learned art. But yeah, I enjoy painting. I love talking about movies and cinema quite a lot. I love, observing layers in terms of scenes and frames, and then, suddenly thinking, उस वाली movie में ऐसे दिखाया था. So I really love that. I love traveling. I wish I could literally travel twice or thrice in a month, which is not possible. But I love traveling. I love cooking. I really enjoy cooking, cooking and baking. And that is also something very therapeutic to me. And I love trying new recipes. And I love checking out YouTubers, chefs, everybody. I follow a lot of chefs. I really enjoy cooking. And recently, I actually picked up a course on mixology and bartending. I did like a small hobby course, and ever since then, I have been really enjoying mixing up drinks. And again, creating like my own mixes and recipes for drinks. So yeah, I would say I do enjoy mixology, or maybe being around cocktails. Another question I keep getting is, oh, you must be reading for your friends and family so often. That must be so cool. Let me tell you, I have absolutely strict boundaries and ethics that I follow with my friends and family. I do not let them come to me before a month if they have the same question again and again. And if they also want to discuss a reading outside of the reading, I do indulge in it sometimes, but I mostly try to avoid it. Because even with your friends and family, sometimes you can become as like the go-to person. And sometimes I'm not in the mood to chat so much and give people gyan. So it's just coming in terms of setting like a healthy boundary. I do not take questions if they are in an anxious state. If they would call me anxiously, I'll be like, we'll do it in like 3 hours, or we'll do it tomorrow morning. So literally the rules that I put up on my page are almost the same rules that apply for my friends and family. And I'm very strict, frankly speaking. Another thing that I keep hearing a lot is tarot only meant for the intuitive people? Can it be like a learned skill or art? I am telling you one thing for sure. Anything in this world can be learned. And I feel that, as a large, like this community of people who maybe talk about it being very for the intuitive people, or, like people who already like channel messages or feel intuitive, I feel it's just a way of like preserving something to a small section of society. And I don't agree with that. It is an art or a skill that you can absolutely learn. And how will you better it? For that, there needs to be practice. And it's my personal advice, there needs to be less of the syndrome of, wanting to be a coach of people already. Just because you have a skill doesn't mean you have all the wisdom. Your life may help you build the wisdom. If not, reading may help you build the wisdom. But as a tarot card reader, your first and prior job should only be to read the cards. And yes, if you are keen in learning tarot card reading, you can absolutely learn it. And once you have learned it, it is upon you that how strongly you take this skill ahead, by practicing it on people, by being honest to it, by ensuring that you are just doing the job right, which is when you say you're a tarot card reader, your job is to read the tarot cards. That's it. Anything else I should tell you? I want to talk about this also. So, in between, like during the starting couple of months, I would actually get Gayab a lot from the Instagram page. So, frankly, the same learnings that I spoke of, when I started as a child, and then when I didn't want to continue, it have been kind of here on the page as well. Like, when I started reading for people, and how Instagram as a tool kind of bridges the communication gap, right? Like anybody's texting me and then I have to reply to them then, or if somebody is in a very anxious state and they want the reading, I have to be available because they are very anxious. So I had struggled with the page and all this new energy in my life for a little bit of time, wherein again boundaries, like people just wanted to keep on chatting, or they wanted to keep on asking a lot of questions about how do we do this, how do we do that, remedies or self-work, or like what is your view on this. And sometimes I didn't feel like chatting, like I do have a life and my friends and my inner circle, so that was a little bit of a struggle in terms of putting that healthy boundary. Then the other struggle has been, of course, educating people about that no, you don't need a remedy, you don't need a ritual. And I don't feel a lot of people agree with that still, because when I see the likes on content like I want to manifest them back, or like the candling ritual, and then I see the likes on my page, I'm like, that's what people want to see. This is not what they want to hear. But regardless, I like sticking with my values, which is that you don't need any ritualism or anything strongly into making things work in your life. All you need is this, write this, and then a good combination and healthy understanding of mind and brain and heart, and that's how things work. So yeah, that has been the second struggle. And the third struggle has been producing content. So it's a personal thing. I am always in this conflict that we don't need to know our future that much. But at the same time, for an Instagram page or for YouTube to function well, I need to be putting out videos every now and then, right? And I need to be breaking down the topics into like smaller topics. How will your husband be? How will your next job be? Your relationship with your boss. And frankly speaking, this is the biggest conflict I go through, because I genuinely feel you don't need to know your future so much. The need to know the future is a need to basically control the future. And this need to control the future not only spoils your present, it also sometimes spoils your future. And because my readings are so not sugar coated, what if there's something negative in that? So what? Like, will you just leave everything and like not work towards it? So this has been the biggest conflict that I keep going through, that do I really need to like put out so much different content about ye kaisa hoga, wo kaisa hoga, this life, that life. So I'm always in conflict about that. I'm trying to tell myself that anybody who wants to watch this sort of a content, they would anyway watch it on any other page. So if you are going to be sticking with your values, that is, you just want to read cards honestly and you want to give honest, no sugar coated readings, then you might as well do it for them, so that they are maybe sometimes not misguided on other channels that like to like sugarcoat things or just always leave the audience with hope. But I don't know, like there's always this conflict, like do we really need to know our future this much? What am I planning next? I am actually planning to take my tarot page a little bit more seriously, because it does take a lot of time, in terms of responses. And even I personally do like engaging, like in terms of putting up stories or putting up content. So I think I'm just trying to become a little bit more clear-headed in my mind in understanding how much time do I want to devote to the content side of the page, and how much time do I want to devote in terms of growing the page. So yeah, that is where I am right now. I hope I've answered most of your questions that you had in regards to me and knowing a little bit about me. See you in the next video. Bye.